In today's tutorial, we're going to install this brand new stainless steel microwave. I've got a fun project for you today. We're going to be doing an under-counter installed microwave that goes above the range, which will sit here in the future. There's a couple things we need to look at before we start this project. Number one, you want to make sure that the microwave you bought is going to fit in this space. I've actually had to install microwaves in here where I had to take this cabinet out and raise it up because the microwave would hang down below here. In this case, we've known all of this in advance, so this will fit just fine. The way to test this is your microwave will have a template in it, and just to check and make sure it's going to fit in the space, just hold that template up and see where it's going to hit. And you can see in our case it's going to follow along our line just fine. There'll be more about this template as we move forward in this project. The next thing I want to talk about is how well is this cabinet anchored to the wall. There are several different materials that these cabinets are made out of today. Your custom cabinet's going to be made out of real wood. Probably don't have to worry about them coming off the wall. Your mid-range cabinets are going to be made out of real plywood, and then your lower to mid-range cabinets are going to be made out of a product called MDF, which is medium density fiberboard. Fancy name, modern fancy name for the old-fashioned particle board. The problems with particle board or MDF is that it's not a very structurally sound wood. It's great for making panels, which is why they use it for cabinets, but it's not very good for strength. So I want you to look at how your cabinet is attached to the wall. You're looking for a headed screw. You'll typically see them on the underside and on the top. Most professional cabinet installers won't do them through the face on the inside of the cabinet. In this case, we already know where our studs are because this is a new construction and I've already marked them out here. So you can see this cabinet is attached with the headed cabinet screws in 4 locations, 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. This will hold this cabinet very well to the wall. And you have to remember, it is supporting a large part of the weight of our microwave. And the microwave that we're going to install today weighs close to 50 pounds. So with gravity over time, you really want this all anchored well to the wall. There'll be a plate that comes in here that carries a large part of the weight, but you're still putting quite a bit of pressure on the underside of this cabinet when you put the screws in the top. Okay, what I've done here, I've taken the template for the drilling of the holes out of the kit, and I've taped it up here. It's a little tedious to do with the camera running, so I went ahead and just taped it up underneath here for you to see. Now, a couple of notes. It shows here rear wall facing there and there, so I've got that against the wall, and I've got it flush up against the hole so that it'll fit. Now, I got to drill 2 3/8 inch holes, one here and one here, and then I've got to drill the big hole for the power cord to go through. It's pretty easy to do. If you've got a 16 inch or 18 inch or larger upper cabinet, you can do this from the inside coming down. That's going to be a much cleaner hole. This is just a 12 inch cabinet. It's a very small cabinet. I can't get the drill in there to do it from the top. So what I'm going to do is put some tape over the holes to keep it from splitting out real bad as I push through. And I'll show you that in just a second. But to start with, I'm going to take a 3/8 inch drill and I'm going to put it where the hole is, and very gently drill up through there. Like that, so that I don't poke too big of a hole. And like I said, I already taped it up on top. I'll show it to you here in a second. But there's the second 3/8 inch hole. I'm doing it really gentle-like. And then I'm going to change my bit and drill the big hole. Okay, the next thing you want to do is find your metal hanger in your box, in your kit. A lot of people throw these away because they think it's part of the shipping. But you don't want to do that. You want to keep this. This carries most of the weight of the microwave, and I've taken the wall template and I've attached it to the wall, and there are some arrows here that show you how to line it up against the wall. You also need, before you do this, to locate your studs, and like I said earlier, we've already located them. So you want to draw on the wall where your studs are, because you'll take your template and you'll hold it up here and match it up to the holes on the template. And what you're looking to do is find the closest hole to a stud, so you can hit a stud there and have good anchorage to that. Now I take a level and I'm try to hold it and get it put right in place there, because you may or may not have your template perfect. And this is where this gets a little tricky, and having two people would probably be a little bit helpful here. But I've got to as closely line up the template as I can and find the closest available hole that might have a stud behind it. So if you don't have a stud back there, you're going to have to use the wall anchors that are provided in your kit. But I've got cabinet screws that will go a long ways into the wall there. Now that one didn't quite catch, but I'm going to leave it in there so that I can adjust up this other one. Sometimes you have to drill a hole, and I may have to do that. These aren't lining up just exactly the way I want them to, but if this doesn't catch, then I'll drill a hole in there to catch it. Okay, that one caught. Now I can back up over here. Again, I want to check my level. And I am right on. So I'm going to back this one out. Okay. So now I'm ready. I can take my template down, and we are now ready to go to assembling the microwave. Okay, now here's where we need to talk about a few things, and you might need to consult with the installation manual. Some homes are going to have a tube that goes up through here and exhausting out into the attic or someplace else, or it may exhaust into the wall. The microwave has to be modified, and your instructions will show you how to do that if you have one of those setups. This one is just going to be recirculating, so I don't have to do anything else to the microwave, and we are now ready to set it in. Now, here's where you're going to understand the importance of this bracket and why you wanted to make sure that it was anchored properly in the wall. These hooks right here are going to carry the weight of the microwave as I install it. This is a point where you really ought to have two people. I'm going to do this by myself. I've done this several times, but this microwave weighs 40 to 50 pounds, and it'll get heavy quick if something doesn't line up quite right. And you got to feed your power core up through this hole. So there's a couple of things that are difficult here, is why you really ought to have two people, mostly because if you drop something or if you need to have something handed to you. These are the bolts that hang it through the cabinet. Put the washer on there and you'll put them through. These are the 3/8 inch drill bits that you put in there earlier. I'm going to set them within arm's reach, and then I'm going to set this microwave. I will probably struggle just a little bit with it because it is heavy, and it really should be with two people. But you fit it through the hole till you make contact with the wall, and you'll feel it connect back in the back. And I'm going to rotate it up and just look to make sure that it's in there. Okay, it is. Then I'm going to rotate it back down, and I'm going to attempt to put the power cord up through the hole. Just like that. And then I'm going to rotate the microwave into place. It is still painting in the brackets. And this is where being relatively short is good. I can just rest that on my shoulder, and so I'm not carrying the weight anymore. So now I got to find 3/8 inch holes and then line up the screws. And this is sometimes hard to do. Sometimes they're hard to find, but that one went in really easy. And I'm just going to screw it in finger tight or not even all the way finger tight at this point because I got to put the other one in. But I just want it to be available to help carry some of the weight as I shift positions here. So I'm going to shift to my other shoulder, and I'm going to find that hole. And I got to admit, that's rare. It went right in the hole. It's rare that both of those are really easy to find, but both of them worked out really well for me. So I'm going to run them down finger tight, as tight as I can. I'm going to get a ladder and go up there and tighten them down the rest of the way with a screwdriver. Now you don't want to over tighten them because you can strip the little sheet metal out that holds it all in place, and then you lose your anchoring ability. But almost there. Yeah, I can feel the microwave lifting just a little bit, taking the weight off of me, which is good. I can do that again. And then I'm going to grab my ladder and tighten those down, and your microwave is ready to plug in. Okay, I finished tightening up the bolts in the cabinet, and I've plugged the microwave in, and you can tell it is on. It's now blinking. We'll have to set the clock in a moment. There's really only a couple of things left to do, and that is, on the inside you'll see some paper tabs. You want to remove those. Those are to keep the door from rattling during shipping. And you want to put your little spinner tray in there. I think technically that's called a tractor. And then you've got your plate to put in there to catch like so. And then on the underside you have a grease filter. It just pops in underneath like so. You can buy replacements of those at the box retailer. They're pretty standard. And there is your newly installed, ready to use stainless steel microwave. Guys, it was pretty easy. Start to finish, took me about an hour to put it in. Didn't really have any problems with it whatsoever. Again, follow the instructions and you'll be fine. If you like these tutorials, do me a favor. Hit like and subscribe to the channel so that you get updates as new videos are posted.